How is everybody doing? My name is Seth, also known as also known as the High Evolutionary, also known as King the Conqueror, also known as Ixnay on Jonathan Majors, um, also known as the King of the Infernal Realm. Yes, that's right. Okay, so today is gonna be a special day. Today we're gonna talk about fucking aliens, man. Um, we're gonna talk about aliens, man. We don't have a choice. We don't have a choice. I mean, this is not. I am going to catch some flack from all sides for this because spirits told me not to talk about it. There's people that believe in aliens that's gonna be pissed about this, and then there's the people that actually know what's going on that's also going to be pissed about it, right? So, because this is the truth. This is pure facts. This is undeniable pure facts. This is just what happens when you dig deep into this alien things, right? When you dig deep into alien things, right? So let's start slow. First of all, because I was watching there's a new Joe Rogan uh episode 2111 with Cat Williams. So far I haven't finished watching it, but so far it's pretty good. Uh, and I'll watch the whole thing, and I will make an assessment about it after I have watched the whole thing. I only watched an hour and 12 minutes and 5 seconds, and it's 3 hour 5 minutes and 26 seconds. Right? That's convenient. So, anyways, um, so I'm gonna start off by saying the same shit because I talk about the Emerald Tablets all the time. I talk about Trismegistus all the time, and apparently it's the day that Joe Rogan figures out that Trismegistus actually is a real thing. I don't believe that's true. I don't. I think he's bugging out. I think he's tweaking. I think Joe Rogan is very aware of who Thoth is. Very aware. Now, mind you, Joe Rogan might be a big dude, but he's very intelligent, and he's been talking about this shit for decades. All right? Decades. So, anyways, that's not the point. The point I'm trying to make here is because Cat Williams always portrays himself as somebody that reads books. I had the same life. No men live alike. No two men live alike. But I'm gonna tell you, when I was young, you can ask my mother because she was the one. If my father was still here, he could confirm these things because my father used to bring me when I was a kid. I didn't have a lot of friends. I couldn't go out. I couldn't do anything. I was stuck in my room all day. I was stuck in my house all day, all night. All right. So my dad would bring me to the library every fucking week. Every fucking week. He would drive me to the library to pick some books because my mom would tell him that I don't want him always playing fucking video games and shit. So bring him. I want this motherfucker to read. So my dad had the responsibility to put me in the fucking car and to drive me to the fucking library. He didn't give a fuck what books I read. All right, he was just forced by his wife. He was forced by his wife to do like any husband would do in any family. When the wife says some shit, the wife is the boss, so the husband has to do what the wife says. So he was pushed and forced to do this deed because if he didn't do the deed, you know what happens. You know what I mean? Everybody's gonna have a bad time. You know what I mean? Probably he wasn't gonna get some mushu. Pardon me for saying, but that's what it is. Let's be real. Let's be real, right? If it didn't bring me to the hospital, if it didn't bring me to the fucking library, he wouldn't get mushu tonight. All right? So I would read books all the time for ages. So and shit, I ain't gonna lie. Maybe the first time he did it, I was kind of like, I don't want to go. You know, I want to play fucking Super Nintendo and shit. Like maybe. But to be honest, I don't remember the last time I didn't want to go to the library. Like, except for that particular day, maybe the first day, I don't remember. Like, and mind you, I got sisters. I got older sisters. I'm the youngest. So I have sisters that are way older than me, right? They had books, right? Um I have a psychologist. I had one of my sisters was in the best school in the country. She was in the best private school in the fucking country, right? And my other sister didn't fall far from the tree. So they're intelligent. So they had books. They had encyclopedias. So if I wanted to read something, all I had to do was sneak into their room, look into the box, and to me it was just like, I'm a kid, right? So it's like treasure hunting, right? So I was treasure hunting. So I was the reason why the first time, and I now it's coming back to me. The reason why I was pissed off. This is all relative. This is the laws of I'm doing the laws of relativity right now. So the reason why I was pissed off the first time I was forced to go to the library is because I already was reading. I already was reading. Like, you really think you're gonna leave me by myself? Like, they're at school, everybody, like, mom's at work, they're at school or at their job and shit, and you really think I'm not gonna fucking dig into your shit? Yes, of course, I dug in your shit, man. Like, like, of course, man, it's like a fucking adventure. I'm a kid. That's even worse. Like, I'm a kid, so that's a fucking legit adventure, man. And you got boxes and shit. Yeah, I'm gonna look in those fucking boxes. I want to know what's in the fucking box. Why are you fucking hiding? Why is it in the fucking box? There was no reason why the shit was in the box. Just we didn't have a fucking library thing, to put the books in. That's all. That's all. And that's it. You know what I mean? Um, so it says we didn't have like a library thing, we just put books in boxes, right? So mind you, I'm reading books about psychology like at a very young age. I'm reading fucking encyclopedias at a young age, and there was some cool ass encyclopedias too. Like, they had like some 3D encyclopedias where you had dinosaurs. And then if you flip over, there was like three plastic pages, and you would flip over one plastic page, and it would give you a different like perception. And then you'd flip over a third page, and it would like be full 3D and shit. Anyway, whatever. That's not important. But anyways, like back in the 90s, people used to do shit like that. So even in encyclopedias. So, anyways, I always read books. So I was kind of insulted at a young age because my parents assumed that I didn't read, right? I wasn't reading my books. It's not like I could fucking say, oh yeah, I just steal my sister's books and I fucking read them. I don't need to go to the fucking library. Then I'd be in trouble with my sisters, and then I'd be in trouble with my mom at the same time and my dad. So, like I had to shut the fuck up and go to the fucking library. So anyways, I would read a lot. I would read an amazing, a ridiculous amount of books, and I would borrow books from the school library, and I would borrow books from the town library. So I would have like a bunch of books, So I would read like a bunch of books, man. School library only let you take 2 books home, right? Because it's the school library and they don't want to lose all their fucking books. So you could only take 2. So I had 2 books from the school library, and you could take around 6 to 10 books from the town library. So I had a total of 12 books every week that I used to read. And if I didn't finish it, I would just, get it. I would just re-rent. I don't know, borrow or rent. I guess I don't know. So I read a lot of books. I read a lot of fucking books. So, anyways, um, and I love the Three Musketeers. If you read if you go check the Joe Rogan thing, you're gonna understand why I said I like the Three Musketeers. I love the Three Musketeers. I think that shit was amazing. I really loved fiction books. I wouldn't read fiction books that much, but I like fiction books and I like comics. And to me, there's more truth. There's more truth in what the fuck did I say? There's more truth in a fiction book than in novels, like regular novels. I think as a thinking man, and anybody is like Isaac Asimov was a incredible, was the Da Vinci of our generation. Isaac Asimov was the Da Vinci of our generation. He is the one that invented the three rules of robotics, right? But the thing is, Isaac Asimov would also write fiction books, right? He's the one that wrote. Actually, Isaac Asimov wrote the Galaxy's Guide to the Universe. If you ever saw that movie, incredible movie, love that movie. One of my favorite movie of all time, after the Matrix. I fucking love that movie. It's my baby. That movie is my baby, dude. So, I love fiction, and you can find and it would be incredibly. I feel like people that say they don't read fiction don't know what they're talking about, because most fiction novels are written by geniuses, incredible geniuses, incredible thinkers. You can't, without Star Trek, some of the technologies that we have today wouldn't exist. Like, forget about the scientists. Like, a scientist only asks questions, right? A scientist is a researcher. They don't invent. There's a difference between an inventor and a scientist, right? And maybe that's a fallacy, or maybe it should be I think it's safe to say that scientists not having, because scientists don't have a space to invent, right? Especially since the schools are mandating specific curriculum in order for them to achieve and to have a job. And once they do have a job, and when a scientist does have a job, he's obligated to structure predetermined molecules. So when a scientist decides to invent something, he has to invest all of the money that he made from working 12, 13, 14, 16 hours a day in order to invent, because the government is not giving scientists free range to invent things, right? And that is pure fact. That is what is this is facts. This is undeniable. This is how the world works today. All right, this is just how it works. This is not me speculating. This is not me throwing shit off the top of my head. No, this is how shit works. That's how shit works. Philosophy too. Philosophy works the same fucking way. If you're a philosophy major, then they're going to have to repeat the same shit that everybody said fucking 75, 200 fucking years ago, and you don't have a fucking choice, and that's the only way you're gonna get your diploma. No one gives a fuck about your fucking ideas. No one fucking cares about what you think. You just fucking repeat the shit like it was fucking written and shut the fuck up and take your fucking diploma and get the fuck out of this fucking school. And that's it. That's life. That's how life works. And that's it. You know what I mean? Like that's it. That's it. That's just it. That's how it works. All right. So an inventor, which by the way, I explained how inventors work, the mind of inventors, and the materialistic lifestyle of an inventor. When you invent, you don't have a space to invent. You are taking a risk to invent. That means you have to go work at McDonald's for 30 fucking years to get the money to put your invention on the market, whatever that invention is. That's just how it is. Now, mind you, now we're getting off track here, but you have to, this is important because there's, it's like my other video, the sense of scale. People tend to have a wobbly, it's not people's fault. It's not people. People are not blind on purpose. Like it's not like that. The sense of scale that I'm talking about here, when we're losing our sense of scale, I don't mean we're disoriented, right? There's this mass disorientation in society, in civilization, where we're just, everything's wobbly. Like things look big 1 second and then the other second it looks small, right? And then 1 second it looks small and then it looks big again. Like, so everything is just warm. It's like a fucking, life is like a goddamn techno track. It's like drum and bass music. It's like warm constantly. I'm tweaking right now, bro. Anyway, so but that's how life is. Life is like warm, like everything always, like, it's disorienting, right? You don't know, you think you know, and when you think you know, you realize you don't know, but then again you realize that you did know, but you don't know at the same time. Anyway, so fiction books, right? You can find a lot of truth in fiction. You can't, the pyramids are fiction. The story of the pyramid is fiction. The story of pyramids is science fiction. You can't be, if you are a scholar, but you're uninterested in science fiction, you're going to be a horrible, mediocre scholar. Why? Because you're just repeating word for word what was already written. You are not pushing the envelope. You are not reaching through the veil. You're not picking an apple out of the tree. You're looking at grass, right? And you just, oh, grass. This is grass. Grass is green grass. You know what grass is? I'm going to tell you what grass is. This is grass, and more grass. You're looking down. You're not looking up, right? You're looking down. You're not looking up. And the problem with civilization today is that most people look down. They don't look up. And worst part is when somebody does come along and starts looking up, they get demonized. They get criticized. They get ostracized for it. Right? So, of course, our sense of scale is fucking wobbly because we're disoriented. We're disoriented by facts. We're disoriented by knowledge. We're disoriented by information. Right? We can all agree on that. We are disoriented. We are disoriented. We are constantly walking in a disoriented fashion. One day, you wake up, you feel like a fucking boss, i.e., a god, and then the other day, you feel like shit. And then the day after that, you feel like a boss again. But then you got to think, why did yesterday I felt like shit? I know I'm this guy, but this guy doesn't recognize that I'm that guy. But the thing is, the other guy here recognizes that I'm that guy. Why does that guy don't recognize that I'm that guy? And why does this guy recognize that I'm that guy? So you're disoriented. This is disoriented. It's dissimulated. What's the word? Dissimulated. Fuck it. Disoriented. You know what the fucking word? You know what word I'm looking for? I just don't remember. So, anyways, so aliens, man. So, like, there's because this is important, because it a lot of it comes up. I've noticed when people talk in the media, it comes up a lot. They like alleged smart people keep saying that they don't read fiction. Yeah, but the truth is in fiction. It is called fiction. It's called science fiction. It's fiction. Fiction is not real. True. You're right. But not completely right. Why do they call it fiction? It is called fiction because science has not discovered a way to make the things in fiction real. But funny thing is, if you read a science fiction book from, I don't know, the 80s, you will find things in those science fiction books that exist today. People like, there's a comic book that I like. They made a movie about it. The movie wasn't that great, but I gotta admit, the comic book is pretty fucking violent. So if they had made the movie like the comic book, it probably wouldn't have passed. Like, it's fucking violent. I mean, we're talking about hands getting chopped, arms getting chopped off, no pun intended, no offense, man. Fucking heads getting fucking split and shit, you know what I mean? Wigs split in comic book. This motherfucker used to walk around with Bloodshot. I'm talking about Bloodshot, okay? We're talking about a dude that's walking around shooting motherfuckers left and right with fucking Uzis like his fucking Arnold Schwarzenegger. Pun intended, that Eminem said that shit first. Whatever, right? So, a real movie about that. Whatever. I'm getting off track here. So, I like that comic book a lot. Not just because it was bloody. Like I told you before, I don't like violence for the sake of violence. The thing about that character, if you see the movie, is that this dude, they replaced his blood with what's called nanites, right? Nanobots. Today, nobody gives a shit about nanobots because we already know it exists. We have proof. The people are using it. It's good for people's health. Blah, 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 blah. Right? But what we're using today is not really nanobots. We're using nano-organisms. We don't have nanites, which is called nanites. What he had in his blood was called nanites, which was actual electronic miniature microscopic robots that completely replaced his blood vessels, his blood molecules. So he didn't have regular blood. Like, he had blood, but his blood was red, but every molecule in his blood was actually a fucking robot, right? So it didn't matter how much blood he lost. He could always he could make an other arm, or he could reattach his arm. There was no problem, right? Which made him an incredible entity to fight, right? Like, he just made him overpowered. He was just overpowered. Like, Bloodshot is an overpowered character, So, mind you, this comic book is from early 90s, almost 80s, and the end of the 80s, start of the 90s. 20 fucking years later, we make a fucking movie about it, right? 20 years later, we make a fucking movie about it. Nobody cares because it's not impressive. Why is it not impressive? Because nanobots exist today. But back in the days, you would have told me, if you saw me walk around with a bloodshot thing, and you would be a person that keeps his eyes on the ground, you would be like, man, why you reading that shit? Why you reading that science fiction shit? Why don't you read some real shit? Well, look at you now, right? 20 years ago, you was telling me to read some real shit, but the shit that you thought was fake is now, today is real. And this is a perfect segue. This is a perfect segue because, mind you, like I said before, we have nanobots today and not nanites. There's a big difference. Not supposed to be, but there is. Humans love practicality, right? The reason why they call it nanobots is because they can program the molecule or the organism to do a specific task. But it's not actually a robot. They induce the organism with chemicals that within the chemicals have predetermined rules and regulations. So when they inject the organism with the chemical, the organism now will recreate what the chemical is telling it to do. So they call that a nanobot, but it's not really nanotechnology. I mean, it's nanotechnology, but it's actually further than nanotechnology, because what we were talking about 20 years ago is actual little chips, actual little robots that, actually did a job, right? But now we figured a way to make cells do the same thing that a nanobot would do. So now we call it nanotechnology. It's not even nanobot, it's just nanotechnology. We have nanotechnology 20 years later, 25 years later, 30 years later. But we were talking about that 30 years before. So fiction is more relative to real life than what you perceive as being real life. You see, when you're reading Catcher in the Rye, most people feel like Catcher in the Rye is what real life is, from Ernest Hemingway. I finally got around to reading it the other day. Didn't care for it too much. I don't see what the big deal is. So art imitates life, or life imitates, and sometimes life imitate art, right? So this is a perfect segue because I'm going to talk about genetic modification. We're going to talk about genetic modification. So now you have to realize that we've been genetically breathing humans for 500 fucking years. Hold up. You're going to be like, what are you talking about? No, we haven't. Yes, we have. Allegedly. Unless that's fiction, unless that was science fiction. And it could be science fiction. It could be science fiction. Machiavelli wrote the blueprint on slavery, right? Machiavelli wrote the blueprint on slavery, how to create a perfect slave and how to breed more slaves. Mind you, People say it's Machiavelli, but people also say they figured that out from horse breeding. So we've been genetically modifying horses to become faster or stronger, taller or smaller for hundreds of years. Hundreds of years. Now we're talking about animals. But humans are not animals because the same process that was used on animal is used on humans. Mind you, nanotechnology was a big thing 10 years ago. Now nobody even talks about it because now we're talking about putting chips in people's brains. So Cat Williams said some shit about cows, which is kind of relative. So cows existed for thousands and thousands of years, but apparently cows were a human invention. There was no such thing as cows before a certain amount of time. We figured out a way to create a specific being that was capable of producing food and drink for thousands of years. That's thousands of years ago. That's thousands of years ago. Thousands of years ago. What the fuck does this have to do with aliens? What the fuck you think an alien is? No, hold up. Wait a goddamn second. So, there's kinds of aliens that we're talking about. People see grace. I've spoken about this with other people, and I've told them, like, I don't believe that shit. I believe what you saw. I believe that what you saw was straight facts. I believe that what I saw was straight facts. I don't believe that the aliens that I've seen with my own fucking eyes didn't exist. But there's something about humanity that just doesn't add fucking up. And I love the fact, and that's another thing that people keep bringing up in media nowadays, and I fucking love it. Every time somebody talks about aliens, the hosts always end up asking, well, what if we're the fucking aliens? And I love that fucking notion. I love that notion, bro. I'm gonna tell you, there's two reasons why I love that notion. Because, first of all, what if there is no such thing as aliens and we're the ones that's been fucking around and trying to get people to believe in aliens? Secondly, I love that notion because what if you're the fucking alien? You know what I mean? Like, what if we are invading somebody's space right now, right? What if we're invading somebody's space? What if we were a creation? What if outside of our realm of existence, everything is fucking normal? Everybody fucking understands each other and hangs around with each other, goes out the bar, have a drink, meet each other's families, go at soccer games and all kinds of shit, right? And then there's us, and they can see us, and they're like, what the fuck is that? I like that notion. I like the thing, because that's what it feels like. It feels like something is studying us. It feels like something. I feel like that's how I feel. I feel like there's a thing, a group of people sitting in their house, and they have access, they have visual access to us, and they're like, what the fuck is that? Why is that here? What the fuck is that? Because we always, there's something about humans that just don't add up. I mean, when you're a spiritual person, if you're a spiritual person and you don't think you're an alien, then you're not spiritual. You're not a spiritual person, or you're fucking lying. Because you can't tell me, look, I would be full of shit, right? With all the fucking things that I'm capable of doing, with all the fucking things that you guys saw me do on YouTube, with all the fucking thought forms that I invent. I'm not the only one that can invent thought forms, but I'm pretty good at it too. You know what I mean? So, flash energy and fucking Cthulhu creatures and shit like that. Like, all that shit's real. I can explain it to you like it's fucking science. Like I'm fucking Isaac Asimov. Shit, I still have the fucking videos if you want the fucking proof. And they fucking work, right? And the laws of attraction. Why does that shit fucking works, right? So, you can't. Oh well, maybe. Oh, the aliens that was there before us have incredible. Yeah, well, what if they don't? What if humans are just like? What if humans defy the laws of physics as we know it? Because that's what it feels like to me. It feels like humans are defiant of the laws of physics. I would be full of shit. I wouldn't believe my own shit. So no, I feel I'm the fucking alien. If an alien comes here, aliens can't do what I do. That's how I feel. I feel like an alien is not capable of doing the shit that I'm capable of doing. I can talk to the dead. Nigga, fuck your fucking aliens. I can speak to your dead people. I can speak to dead aliens, nigga. Fuck you and your fucking laser beams and your fucking flying saucers. I don't give a shit. I'll get a whole army of dead people like a fucking Lynch King and I'll fucking kill your ass. For real. So these aliens, if there are aliens, which are terrestrials, I would call them terrestrials, and we're the extraterrestrials, right? If terrestrials actually exist, they're probably watching us and they're fucking worried. They're fucking scared shitless, probably. They're like, what in the fucking world are those motherfuckers doing here? I don't think aliens, if there are aliens, like those little gray men, I don't think they can talk to dead people. I don't think they can do that. I don't think so. I don't think it's a thing. I don't think they can do that. I don't think they can. I don't think they have access to gods. Like they can't invoke, they can't do magic. I don't think they can do magic and invoke gods and shit and make shit happen and shit like that. I don't think they can do that. I don't think so. I think they're like, what the hell is this thing? Like, why is it capable? Like, they're as confused as we are. Basically, that's what I'm saying. Basically, that's what I'm saying. If we're confused, they're probably twice as confused, even more. The spider is more afraid of you than you're afraid of it. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? So, anyways. Let's go into conspiracy land now, because now we talked about like genetic modification that we've been capable of doing for thousands of years, right? We can use sound. Yeah, oh yeah, but the aliens started. No, they didn't. Nobody started shit. We are born with knowledge. We're born with knowledge. Me, I'm a supposed people call on the internet, they call us chosen ones, which is garbage. Which I feel like it's complete trash. I don't know. It might not be. It might not be. I'm tweaking. I'm tweaking, son. I'm heated right now. But anyway, so I'm called a chosen one. But because we don't know, right? It's not like the chosen was this like like I don't believe that shit. You want to know why I don't believe? Like, the reason why I don't believe that shit is like all these people give thanks to God for what they know. Why? I don't need God. I don't need the church. I don't need nothing. I don't need none of these fucking things. I already know. I was born with knowledge. I was born knowing things. I don't need God to tell me what to do. I don't need nobody to tell me what to do. I need help in my everyday life. This is why, this is what I believe spirits and gods are for. Help, right? If I want to better myself, I'm going to need help. So I speak forward to God. I invoke God to help me become a better person. Right? That's what I'm going to that's why I need a God for. So I don't believe in a God, well, just give me everything you have and give me your money and give me your spirit and give me your soul, and then later on I'm going to pay you back later. Fuck off. I don't want an IOU. Fuck that shit. I don't want a fucking IOU. So I don't, like, you can't, to be honest with yourself. I know you're scared shitless of religion and shit and what might happen to you if you don't believe in God, but I want you to be honest with you for 2 seconds. Did God instill you with this knowledge, or were you already aware of everything before you even read the Bible and before anybody told you about the existence of God? Yes or no? If your answer is yes, then you're chosen. If your answer is no, then you're not chosen. End of story. End of fucking story. End of story. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing else. I don't want to hear nothing more about it. I don't want to hear anything more about it. That's just how it is. If you're chosen, then you are you are the law. Motherfucker, even God has to obey your motherfucking ass. Right? You are above God. Now, nigga, you are above God. You are the law. You are the law. You are quantum physics. You are a quantum entanglement. You are physics itself. There is no above or below you. Period. And if you don't believe that, then you're not chosen. If you walk around with fear in your heart of something smashing you over the head for doing, fuck off. You're not chosen. Nothing can smash you over the head because you are the law. You are the one that creates. There is nothing above you. You're a God. You're a walking God. You are the representation of the law. If anybody, if God needs to listen to you, you don't need to listen to God. You're the one that tells God what to do. God don't tell you what to do. So anyways, back to our apples. Sorry about that. Genetic modification. I've spoken about this, and I said the same shit. The person told me, this person told me they saw an alien. I told them I saw an alien too. What do you think? I told him what I think is there is a specific set of people that have power and influence over the superpowers of the earth, right? They hold some form of influence. They hold some form of power of decision. And because those people hold this form of decision-making abilities, that other people tend to listen and do what they say in fear of consequences, repercussions, and consequences, right? That's what I think. And I think the concept of aliens, the concept of little gray men, or human-sized creatures, you know, Anunnakis, whatever the fuck they're called, or Lumerians, yeah. Whether it's Lumerians or Greys, I think it's a fucking smoke show. I think it's a fucking smoke screen. I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real. And then the person asked me, well, why would they do that? Because they're trying to control us. They're trying to keep us away from the truth. Because the truth is, some of us represent the law. Some of us represent death itself. Some of us represent life itself. There is no getting around us. There is only us. There's no getting around me. There is only me. Right? And that's the truth that they don't want me to discover. They want me to remain disoriented. They want me to remain with a disillusioned sense of scale, where one day I feel big and the other day I feel small, and then the other day I feel big and then small again and big and then small and big and small and big. And everybody goes through that. Some people notice it, some people don't. Because some people think, oh, well, that's just life. That's just how life is. Wah, wah. You know what I mean? Oh, Welsh. Oh, Welsh. But, and there's no buts. That's it. That is what is going on. That is what is going on. There is no fucking aliens. And if there are aliens, they're not fucking aliens. They're actually terrestrials. And we're the ones that are fucking aliens. We're not normal. We are not a normal people. We don't do normal shit. People feel like, oh, well, this is normal. No, none of this is normal. By the word definition of normal, there would be no such thing as fucking laws of attraction or fucking magic or fucking thought forms or fucking global consciousness, telepathy, fucking, all kinds of shit, man. Apocalyptic optimaps, nigga, fucking apocalyptic powers, chaotic powers, fucking holy powers, and fucking prophets, and seeing into the future, fucking mathematician, like genius engineer like Da Vinci that invented tanks way before tanks was invented. Fucking flying machines way before flying machines was invented. Nikola Tesla and fucking Wi-Fi and shit like that. Because Nikola Tesla invented Wi-Fi, by the way, but whatever. So that's none of that shit's normal. What the fuck is normal about all that? What's normal about all that? Do you see something normal here? Do you see using rhythm, Africans using rhythm to make the rain fall, or to call forward gods and to fight wars with the fucking sound of the drum that's calling in the fucking spirit that's fucking violent, that's getting into them and making them stronger and more fucking volatile and shit, so they go into battle fucking bloodthirsty and fucking kill everybody and shit like that, win a whole entire goddamn war. Three fucking wars. We fought the British, we fought the French, we fought the whatever, 2 fucking wars. We fought the British, we fought the French, and we won against both of them. A little fucking country that don't even have food to eat, nigga. Niggas didn't even have food to eat. But we killed 2 of the most powerful fucking forces on the planet with drums. And machetes. Maybe 2 or 3 guns. You find that normal. That's normal to you. This is all normal. This is just... Get the fuck out of here. Bro, what is y'all talking about, man? What the hell are y'all talking about? Anyways, so, okay, well, I guess all this shit is normal then. So let's get back to my apple. So, government has been genetically modified. This is genetically modified. Like, there's people are fishing fish that I have never seen before in my fucking life. Like I said, I used to read encyclopedias, like, a lot. I stopped reading encyclopedias 2001, right? That's when I stopped reading encyclopedias, right? I think the last time I read an encyclopedia was in 2001, right? I've never seen these fucking fishes before in my fucking life. There's fucking bugs, encyclopedias. There's everything in an encyclopedia, by the way. There's bugs today that I've never seen in my entire life, whether in real life or in a book or in a documentary. There are animals that live today that I have never seen in my entire life in a book, in a documentary, or in real life. But these fucking things are walking around outside right now. They come from a lab, bro. They come from a fucking lab. So we're seeing little gray men. So there's another question. Why would they be doing this? Because the thing is, when you live in black neighborhoods, when you live in the country, for some reason, the country and black neighborhoods is the places where you can spot the most aliens. Not in big cities. Aliens are never in big cities. Why? It's just a coincidence, right? It just so happens aliens don't like bustling cities. They don't like looking at a bunch of people. It's disturbing. They find it gross. They don't like our faces. They don't like tall buildings for some reason. That's offensive. Tall buildings. Aliens are like God. Tall buildings are offensive to them, so they try to destroy it. They're like King Kong and God. God always trying to destroy civilization all the time. But that's me tweaking again. That's just a coincidence. I'm just tweaking. It just so happens. And I'm high and I'm on drugs and shit and I be drinking too much and blah 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 blah. But for some reason aliens don't like New York. For some reason aliens don't like Paris. For some reason aliens don't like Dubai, Abu Dhabi, certain places in Africa. They don't like big cities. They hate that shit. No, they always hanging around in the country or where black folks at. Why? So there's somebody disrespectful out there that's gonna be like, well, the government does that's gonna believe in what I'm saying, but also gonna be disrespectful about it and gonna be like, the government doesn't want the reason why the government be doing that is because people are stupid and they're gullible. So if they go in those parts, they're more inclined to believe the people in the city are gonna believe the because people are stupid. Everybody's stupid, but we're more stupid than all the stupid people, right? So that because that makes sense. That makes sense, right? So since we're more stupid, so people in the country and black folks are more stupid than everybody else. Everybody else is since everybody else is still stupid, they're gonna still believe what we say and our accounts of aliens. That's not why. It has nothing to do with that. You couldn't be farther from the truth. The reason why they do that is to fuck with your mind. The reason why they do that is because, let me tell you why. Especially for people in the country. Because I don't want to talk about black folks, because if I talk about the reason why they're doing it to black folks are going to go crazy. They're going to be like, that's right, nigga. That's right. I ain't trying to... I ain't trying to do that. So I'm not going to encourage bad behavior. All right. So, anyways, the reason why they do it in the reason why they do it, I'm gonna say it after. Let me finish this because this is important, and this is people need to know this. The reason why they attack the country is because country people are more prone to be connected to the all. I hate saying the word nature because nature isn't real. They're more because behind nature is the all. When you're trying to connect, when people are soul searching and they're trying to connect to nature, what they're trying to connect is with everything that is. And people feel like connecting to nature is a good link to be connected to everything else that grows out of nature, right? So when I say the all, I actually mean nature. If I say nature, I actually mean the all, right? So the abyss. So, and that's what you're trying to connect to. When you're trying to connect to nature, you're trying to connect to the abyss, right? Because behind all this light, there's only darkness. So that's what the all is. The all is behind all matter, there's the antimatter, right? So what you're trying to connect is what you're trying to connect with the antimatter, what permeates life, what permits life to grow, right? And you need darkness for light to grow, not necessarily light, because light will kill life. Too much light will actually ruin life. You need darkness in order for things to grow. You need humidity. You can't have humidity coming from pure light. Light is going to destroy the fumes, like a dry summer, right? So if life was constantly in a dry summer, there would be no life. It would be barren. This planet would be barren. It would not be teeming with life. So you need darkness. You need a little bit of light, of course. You need a little bit of heat, but you also need darkness in order for things to actually grow out. So when you're trying to connect to the all, you're trying to connect to the abyss, to everything that is. Um, that's what you're connecting to. You're not connecting to light. You're connecting to what's behind light. What you want is to connect to what is behind the light. So the light only covers and shades what's beyond, right? It's like when you can't see the stars when the sun is up. You can't see anything when the sun is up. You can't see a goddamn thing. So and then what hides behind the sun, because the sun is in your face, and then when the sun goes down, what's behind the sun? Darkness. So there's still darkness behind the sun, which is obvious, right? But think about it for 2 seconds. Think of it as a human and not an astronaut. As a human, when you say that you're going to connect with nature, you're going to connect to the abyss. You're going to connect to darkness. The sun that you're seeing is only stopping you, is actually stopping you from seeing what's behind of what you're seeing right now. Because what you're seeing right now is blinding. You're being blinded. So when the sun goes down, when the sun is actually not in your eyes anymore, when the veil comes down, what's behind the sun? Darkness and the moon. So people in the country are more prone to connect with nature. People in the country are more or less likely to be brainwashed. People in the country are more traditional. People in the country are more indigenous. They might not. Rednecks are only a different kind of indigenous people. Redneck. Native. Anyway. So they have this tendency as obscure as it is, mind you, I do recognize that. As obscure as it is their own version of a ancient tradition, of an ancient way of thinking, which is not completely filtered out, true, but people in the country do tend to be nicer people. They do tend to be nicer people. They're less blinded by light. They're less like, what I mean by that is they like, I live in the country, and I lived in the country, and they were nice people, but they didn't have a bunch of Illuminati people living on their street doing all kinds of nonsense. There is a lot of people doing nonsense. They're still country folks at the end of the day. I mean, a cowboy is going to be a cowboy, is going to be a cowboy, is going to be a cowboy. But they're not into, even though they might be cowboying and shit, they're not really into the sensationalism that city people might be in, right? So to me, it was hard to do business over there. It was very hard to do business over there because they just want to, they want to lion dance. They want to listen to some country music and shit like it was hard. It wasn't that easy. It was hard. It was hard because they didn't like their way of life being disturbed. Even though they do appreciate money, there's certain kind of money that they stay away from, right? That's what I mean. Basically, yeah. They like money, but there's certain kind of money they stay away from. And that's good. That's not a bad thing. And that's the fucking problem. Because as long as these guys stay on the fence with the rest of America, there's always going to be a fucking problem. Because mind you, cowboys don't want a bunch of fucking buildings everywhere. They don't want their business. They don't want the government's business. They don't want a bunch of fucking buildings everywhere and a bunch of fucking hotels and airports and shit like. They don't want that shit. They'll accept a little bit of it, only what they need or only what is necessary, but not an overflow. They're not with it. They don't want New York. They want their nice little country. They like their little dunes and their little countrysides and lakes and stuff and rivers, and that's what they like. That's the reason why you keep seeing fucking aliens. That's the fucking reason why you keep fucking seeing aliens. That's the reason why. Believe it or not. Because with the belief that there is a power far greater than you, then you're going to go get a power that in your perception is either rivals or close to or above the power that is in your way or threatening your way of life. So for as long as you don't see the United States government as threatening your way of life, then we all good here. But if you start seeing the United States government as the people that are threatening your way of life, then we're not all good. You know what I mean? There's a fucking problem. You know what I mean? And it's not just the United States government. I don't think it's the United States government that necessarily wants to do that shit, but there are people within the shadow government, right? That are, and it could be the United States government too, because at the end of the day, anyway, but the government doesn't exist too. That's another thing. The government, there's no more government. There's no president right now. Nobody's running the country. The country is running itself. All of this is the country is running itself right now. Nobody notices. We got a bunch of incompetent people. Do you really think all these crazy drug addicts and incompetent people are doing something for you right now? No. You're the one doing everything, man. Nobody's doing nothing. There's no government. It doesn't exist, bro. That's fiction. That's science fiction. The government is fiction, bro. You're the one doing everything. So the alien conspiracy, the idea that little gray men or Lumerians, the idea that Lumerians or little gray men are a threat to human society is a farce. It's a complete lie. And if you think that scientists cannot create different abstract human features on a person or a whole entire person, then you need to read more books, because we've been cloning people forever. We've been, period. There's, cloning is not a big deal. What's the name of the first clone? The little sheep. It was a sheep. The first clone was a sheep. That was in 1995. The first clone was created in 1995, bro. You had the name. I don't remember the name. It was a sheep. We cloned a sheep. It was a perfect sheep. There's nothing wrong with the sheep. The sheep is fine. It's a regular ass sheep. We eating clone meat. We eating clone meat right now. Shit, there's people that fucking complain about chicken McNuggets. Why are people complaining about chicken McNuggets? Because the McNuggets are not made from real chicken. People don't want to eat chicken McNuggets because they're not real McNuggets. And you don't think so we can just clone shit like that whenever we feel like it, by the thousands, by the millions, because mind you, we're talking about McDonald's here. So there's millions of people eating that shit. Shit, I ate some chicken McNuggets just the other day. You know what I mean? And you think they can't fucking create a 3-foot tall gray looking thing? Yeah, of course they can. It's fucking easy. There's nothing easier than that. This literally, that's not even a fucking inconvenience. It's not even hard. Shit, maybe I can. Man, if you showed me, I probably could do it myself. That is not a problem at all. And in case that all of this just flew over your head, mind you, we have discovered since 2014 officially, 2015 or 2012, since 2012 officially, I was listening officially. It's not even official. I don't even know when it was official. So people think that we can't light speed travel. Yeah, we can. That's also not a problem. That's also not an inconvenience. We could do it right now. If the government, if Donald fucking Trump or Joe motherfucking Biden decided to be like, you know what? We want to travel light speed. Engineers are going to be like, okay. Yeah. So I was watching a documentary the other day with the scientist, the engineer sitting there. The engineer's looking at the camera, straight at the camera with a bold, with his eyes wide open. He's like, yeah, we could go light speed, but we don't care. We don't care about light speed because, it's not practical. It's not practical. Like, why would we go light speed? We could do a lot better than light speed. Wait, what? Wait, what? We, what do you mean? We could go faster than light speed. So wait a minute. So give me a second. So you're telling me all them fucking alien conspiracy video I've been watching since the fucking Twilight Zone existed, right? Since 1970 something, right? And y'all been telling me, oh, we don't have ships that can go that fast. Wait, what? The fuck you just said, nigga? We don't have ships that can go that fast. Wait, what? But then a couple 20 years later, oh yeah, we could go light speed. That's not a problem. What? Light speed. Bitch, please. Really? Pardon my language. No pun intended. No offense, man. But seriously. So right now, what niggas is working on? Right now, niggas is working on we have a. Do you know what a particle collider is? Do you know what a particle collider is? Do you know how long the Holodron Collider exists? That shit existed in the fucking 70s. We've been colliding atoms together since the 70s. What? Do you science fiction? So anyways, so right now we have the Gullivieri or the Ollivieri, Paul Gullivieri. This is what we're working on right now. This is what we're saying what we're working on, but this is what we have. That's what I'm gonna say. You can say that this is what we discovered. I'm gonna say this is what we have, because I'm not stupid enough to be like, if you talk about it today, that means it's only today that you talked about it. So I'm not gonna say discovered. I'm gonna say have. So we have a Gullivieri engine, right? Do you know what a Gullivieri engine is? No? Well, let me tell you. A Gullivieri engine is it's a an engine that can fold space. Why would I need to fold space? Well, I'm glad you asked. Well, if you want to go faster than light travel, which would actually take a little bit of time depending on where you're going, because I guess 1 light year is a whole year, but you're traveling a whole year very, 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 very fast. So you're traveling at 365 days a minute, or 1 day an hour, depending on the engine, or 1 day a minute, I guess. Yeah, so you're traveling 1 day a minute. So that's pretty fast. So we're like, fuck light travel, right? When you're traveling 1 day a minute is not fast enough. Aliens, 1 day a minute is not fast enough for us. No, we're like, fuck light travel. We have a Gullivier engine. Now the Gullivier engine is way worse than light travel. Way worse. Why? Because instead of actually traveling somewhere, you're actually vacuuming reality. Fuck space. You know what I mean? Like, fuck, we're not talking about space no more, bro. We are not in space anymore, bro. So you're sucking in reality, because you need to understand, because sometimes we watch movies and shit and we think we understand the shit, but we don't actually understand what's going on. So let me tell you what the fuck is actually going on. So you're actually sucking reality, and then you're grabbing reality and you're pulling it towards you, which is the traveling part, and you're leaving that part behind you to end up somewhere else, right? It's like it's warping. You're warping, right? It's a warp drive, just like in Star Trek. In Star Trek, they use warp drive. They don't use light travel. They use warp drives. They have a light travel. They have a light travel engine for short distances, right? But when they're really going, like, infinity and beyond, whatever the fuck they say in fucking Star Trek, I don't fucking remember, and then you see the thing just going, that's warp speed, right? When they say warp speed, that's what they're fucking doing. They are sucking reality towards them and leaving a part of reality behind to end up somewhere else. This is what we have. This is what we're capable of. And the reason why I'm saying capable of is because I heard that shit a couple years ago, about 4 years ago. And as we all know, if they talk about something in the news, that means they already discovered this shit 20 years ago. They're just letting us know today. Because we're stupid. We're stupid. And then the country people and the black folks are even more stupid. That's normal. That's what normal is. That's what normal is. And so the reason why they're doing it to black folks, they're doing it for the same reason that they do it for the country people. They're doing it for the same fucking reason. Because black people are actually, I'm not talented. I'm not looking for the word smart or the word talented. And I'm not looking for the word spiritual. Not that black people are not those things. That's not what I'm saying. The word that I'm looking for precisely explains the exact reason why they're doing that. Because black folks have this talent, right? They have this talent where they are capable of learning very quickly. But it's like black people have a tendency to have like a weird kind of memory. It's like selective memory, right? It's like that's why we always the one that makes things cool. It's like that filter that I keep talking about. We have that naturally. We have a natural filter for things. We have a natural filter for digesting things. And when we digest it, when we actually ingest the things, the knowledge, we're capable of doing certain things to it. And then we make it cool. Right? That takes talent to do that, by the way. To make something cool, something acceptable by everyone, that takes talent. That takes a sort of genius. So black people have this like genius that they can tap into. But propaganda, social engineering has kind of almost completely removed that ability from them. And it's still there.